You're gonna tell the feds everything I want them to know, and you're gonna get everything from them that I want.
And we're gonna do it in a way that doesn't get back to Tommy.
If you don't know me, they will kill me.
In between two devils.
Flynn's always find a way.
Call your boss.
Now over to episode 2 of this final season for Power Book 4 Force. After what I thought was a great start, they've laid the foundations for love, betrayal, ambition, chaos, and also power. They've set up all the triangles that Gary Lennon and Joseph Sikora spoke about prior to season 3, and we are going to be going through some of them in this particular preview. You've got Tommy, D-Mac, and the Diamond Angle. That's going to continue in episode 2 until it reaches boiling point, which I believe is going to be when King Kilo is released. You've also got Vic Flynn, Tommy, and Stacey Marks. Claudia Flynn also seems like she might also be willing to cooperate all of a sudden. The angle with Tommy, Maria, Miguel Garcia, and we've also got the first appearance of Vic's new love interest, Ray. With that being said, as usual, we are going to be running through a quick preview of what to expect for episode 2 based on all these exclusive images and the episode 2 trailer that they did drop earlier on in the week. So let's dig into some of these scenes, starting with the title and synopsis. Now the title of episode 2 is A Seat at the Table, and the synopsis reads: Tommy's ambition sets him on a dangerous path, testing his alliances and endangering those closest to him. Now I am going to start here with the D-Mac problem, which we just went through earlier on in the week. We are going to be seeing Tommy come into Marshall's apartment, finding D-Mac hiding in the cupboard and giving him a big talking to. Tommy will be telling him as long as he's in the CBI, D-Mac is out. From Tommy's point of view, he's going to try and protect him because not long ago, he just killed a cop. I know it's been 2 years for us as the audience since for season 2 and also 3, so it does seem like a very long time. But he just killed Seamus back in season 2 episode 4. He's been making a lot of mistakes for Tommy, Diamond and the CBI to clean up, and Tommy's just trying to protect him. After what happened in New York with burying Raina St. Patrick and how Tariq turned to the streets, all Tommy wants is the best for D-Mac. The problem is, kids are going to be kids. They think they know better, they think they know it all. Tommy can give him all the advice, all the tough love, but they're just going to go and do what they're going to do anyway. So I do personally think there is another mistake that isn't too far away for D-Mac. We've also got him with Marshall, we are going to see a lot of their brotherhood throughout season 3, and D-Mac is also holding some cash. Not sure where he's got this from, but if he is up to no good again, he will create more problems, and I do think that will push Tommy to the edge with D-Mac, just like it did with Tariq. I don't think it's got to the stage where he's going to be hanging D-Mac off a roof just yet, but I honestly wouldn't be surprised if we do see something very similar. And this is one of the reasons why I do eventually think he's probably going to have no choice but to bring D-Mac in, because that's the only way he's going to be able to keep an eye on him. My personal point of view is, just how much more damage does D-Mac cause? Earlier in the week, I mentioned he needs some tough lessons. Eventually he needs to lose loved ones as well. How much danger does he cause like Tariq did? Like Kanan did in Raising Kanan? Like Ghost will probably do in Power Origins? All of these kids, all they do is create mistakes, create mess to clean up for Rock, Marvin, Lou in Raising Kanan, create mess for Ghost and Tommy to clean up for Tariq in Power. So I'm genuinely expecting the same from D-Mac in for season 3, before Tommy then decides to baptize him. Now we know this situation is a lot more complex to say the least. King Kilo wants him dead, Shanti wants to keep him alive for 2 or 3 more weeks, Diamond also has called a hit on D-Mac in episode 1, and he's also going to continue to tell Junard they have to deal with D-Mac, which is all going on behind Tommy's back by the way. At some point I do expect them to figure out what they are planning, and that probably will coincide with King Kilo's release, and that's when I expect the CBI to completely tear apart. But in my opinion, I just think Diamond's moving absolutely crazy. I just want to know what his plan is and how he wants to deal with D-Mac without it blowing back on them, because Tommy really will lose his shit. Now over to Tommy making a move against what I believe is a Marquez cartel. There is no way he doesn't let the hit on him and Shanti in episode 1 go unanswered. He will have to hit back. He will have to make sure his presence is felt, because at the end of the day, the CBI reputation is on the line. Tommy can't just sit back and take the punches. He's in the ring with the big boys, he's in the ring with the heavyweights, and he is going to have to make some big counter moves. So let's see what him and Diamond have up their sleeve over here. We've also got Tommy and Maria in a couple of scenes. She's proving to be a ride or die for Tommy in season 3 for as long as he doesn't kill Miguel. She did make him make that promise. I think what separates Tommy from any of her previous love interests is the fact that he isn't afraid to stand up to someone like her brother. Nobody's ever come into her life that's been able to say no to Miguel. But at the end of the day, a lot of these actors who have recently been doing interviews have all been repeating the same theme. Blood is thicker than water. Chris Lofton just mentioned it in the Breakfast Club interview that he did with Joseph Sikora and Isaac Keys. A great listen by the way, so if any of you guys do have time before episode 2, definitely give this a listen. I will leave the link down below in the description section. But let's move on to Vic and Claudia Flynn. Now we've got Vic coming to see Claudia for the first time since she was arrested. Definitely will be an interesting conversation, that's for sure. A lot went down in season 2 between them, and I don't think this relationship has ever been the same since, and I genuinely don't think it ever will. Let's see if Vic is actually here to help maybe Claudia or actually just help himself. We know Stacey Marks wants a conviction, and maybe that's why Vic's here to see Claudia. We've also got Claudia speaking to Stacey Marks, which is a change from her stance in episode 1. Or maybe Stacey Marks has given her no choice. Maybe Stacey Marks has evidence that will put Claudia away for a very long time, and gives her no choice but to cooperate. I do think Claudia will think twice about snitching on the Marquez cartel, but let's just see what Stacey Marks has. Earlier in the week when we also broke down this trailer, I did mention the one person she would have no issues on flipping on is Tommy Egan. If Stacey Marks bought her a deal, put a deal on a piece of paper that gave Claudia her freedom in exchange for someone like Tommy, there is no way Claudia says no to that deal. The problem that Claudia has is she doesn't have anything on Tommy. She doesn't actually have anything that could help Stacey Marks unless she actually flips on the Marquez cartel. But again, she goes and does that, she knows she's going to end up like Markovich. So this conversation is going to be very interesting. Let's see what goes down. I'm sure Claudia will have something up her sleeve, it's just difficult to pinpoint exactly what. Now there is also another character who can actually help Claudia, and that's her girlfriend, Elise. She will be coming to see Claudia in episode 2 as well. Claudia will be asking her for help. We then have Elise coming to see Shanti. Now how she's able to help, we know she's wealthy, she comes from a family with a lot of money and resources. But putting Elise in this world when Claudia is behind 4 walls, when she's got Elise maybe digging for information for example, maybe playing both sides, she's putting Elise in a very dangerous position because she's someone who definitely isn't built for this world. If you have a look at her demeanor in the trailer for episode 2, she looks shit scared. I also went back over my death predictions breakdown and I did have Elise on the list. It may not be in episode 2, but I also wouldn't be surprised if it was. You've got Beth, who's a person of comfort and trust for Vic Flynn, and then you have Elise as the same for Claudia. But what if you were to take that away from Claudia? Unfortunately, the game's the game. Now for those who are wondering who this is Ray. She's going to be playing Vic's new love interest, and someone who will probably give Vic some purpose in life. At this moment in time, he's stuck. Tommy will be watching his every move and will be wanting to make certain moves for him within law enforcement, and this will probably serve as a very nice distraction for someone like Vic Flynn. The one thing that he's missed in season 1 is Gloria. He hasn't been the same ever since. He's felt lost, under pressure, trapped, but maybe for the first time since season 1, he can genuinely see an escape plan. And Ray might just be that person. She might just be the shining light. Now elsewhere from the episode 2 trailer, we also see Vic going to see Beth again in episode 2. It seems like she's the only person Vic can really turn to at this moment in time, just like Claudia can only turn to Elise. He's trapped between a rock and a hard place, and Beth at this moment in time probably gives him a sense of comfort that nobody can. At this moment in time, he needs someone like Beth in his corner, because as I mentioned before, he has been lost ever since he lost Gloria. I also believe Shanti beating someone up also matches up to episode 2 based on what she's wearing as well, so I do also expect to see that scene as well. But that's a preview for episode 2 based on the exclusive images and the trailer for episode 2. They've already laid the foundations to some betrayal, war between the CBI and the Marquez cartel, Tommy and Miguel. I'm really also intrigued to see how this D-Mac situation continues to play out, especially because Diamond is acting quite wild behind Tommy's back. Let's see how Vic copes with being in between Tommy and Stacey Marks, and also what does Claudia have up her sleeve. I genuinely don't think we can count Claudia out just yet. But drop all your thoughts and predictions down below for episode 2 in the comment section, and as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.